Hey folks, welcome back. We're playing some more Thunder today, and we're flying out the MiG-15bis. You can see the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check our BR. You see that we have a 9.3 plane, the Lightning F6, so we know immediately that we are in a full up tier. We're going to go ahead and speed up the footage here and tell you a little bit about the MiG-15bis. The MiG-15bis is one of my favorite fighters at BR 8.3, 8.0, and it's just a great dogfighter. Has incredible turn time, not super great instantaneous turn time, especially at high altitude, but you got a lot going for you when you fly the MiG-15bis. The differences between the MiG-15bis and just the MiG-15 is going to be your engine thrust. MiG-15bis is a lot better. I want to say it has about 10% more thrust over the regular MiG-15. You can see in the footage that the SO452, or the Vautour, took out that Saab 105G. And the reason that that's important is because we want to watch out for those. You saw at the beginning we were checking to see if the French were on our team or if they were on the enemy team, and that's because that plane in particular has a radar-guided missile that can be quite dangerous. You can see me diving here, and that's because I saw two A-YITs. And those are fairly dangerous planes. They're going to be A4s that carry 4 18G missiles. They got quite some range, so you can see I'm making sure they're far and behind me, and that is what we're going to do. We're going to want to try to avoid people and only take fights with those who we know we can fight, like Sabres and F-84Fs. You can see we take a head-on here, we miss all our shots, and then we see this MiG-21 and this F-84F in a dogfight over here, and we do decide to go help out our MiG-21, because it looks like he's stalled out. It looks like the F-84F could maybe go over, hammerhead him. Either way, we go over there, and we end up taking out this F-84F. We don't get a very good shot on him. We only, I think, shoot a flap or two, or a wing or root, or something like that. But he ends up crashing a few moments later, which is pretty nice. And then we see this Meteor, the F9F, and this Sabre coming in, and so we want to be a little wary of those guys, especially that Meteor at high speeds. He can turn fight us pretty easily, especially if it's the F8, which I do believe it is. Let's see, is it? I can't tell, I can't remember. Either way, we turn back around, and we're going to try to get a kill on this F-84F. However, we don't lead correctly, we shoot over him, and we just miss our shot completely. I find that the rudder at high speed can be a little finicky, and so it can be kind of hard to aim properly, especially with the 37s or the 23s. Later on in the video, I do show you that I like to use the vertical targeting. We missed another shot here. That should have been another free kill air brake, because we don't want to die and crash into the ground. We're going to hammerhead this guy one more time, if I do remember. But then we see we got too many guys coming in, and we do end up dying here, however. So one thing to remember is don't turn around too fast. Make sure you know your positioning. That was a very preventable death there. How if we had just kept our speed, maybe continue onward instead of turning back around. So just keep in mind where your enemies are at all times. Anyhow, we go ahead and take off. And we're going to take a peek at this A4E because he's carrying either AGMs or Mavericks or something. I don't know. I don't play ground RBs, so not my forte. All I do know is that he's not carrying missiles, which I don't think the A4E can, actually. At least that one in particular. Either way, because that's the American squadron vehicle one. Anyhow, we're taking off, and I'm going to go ahead and cut ahead here to when we're at altitude, and snap my fingers. There we go. And you can see we have a MiG-15 high and a MiG-15 just below him. Now, first thing I see when I see a vehicle that is the exact same one as mine, we can see it's a German one, so we know it's the MiG-15bis, because the Germans only have the MiG-15bis. So we're going to go ahead and get an altitude advantage over this guy, which is, you can see we're doing that now. He notices us as well. So he's going to start climbing as well, and then he's going to take a head-on with us. You saw I was looking at the MiG-15 below us, and that is because I wanted to make sure he wasn't going to pitch up for us. Anyway, you see him climbing, he goes ahead and turns over, and we take a head-on with him. I pull off, we take off his wings, severe damage. Easy kill. And then we see the Swifts on the right, we see the SAR, and we're going to go ahead and dive on this SAR. mostly because we see that he's pulling up really high for our friendly there, and so we know that this is probably a free kill. And so we take a few shots, we miss, we take another few shots, and there we go, back to the hangar. So we're looking around, we're making sure nobody can hit us, and then we see a C-Vixen in our tail, which is always kind of a scary thing, and we see that he does shoot a missile off at us now, which he's about 2.8 kilometers away when he shot that, which means we don't really have to worry about that hitting us, but we will see it go right here, right by us, which is why I turned just slightly so it would lose some energy. And we're going to go ahead and try to kill this C-Vixen. C-Vixens can be really annoying late game because they do have really good engines. They can also be super annoying early game because they just have a lot of easy kill presence and easy kill potential with their 4 red tops. So this isn't normally how you would dogfight any vehicle, especially since you can see I'm in front of him. You'll see shortly we get behind him. Cat just jumped on the desk there, sorry about that. And just started knocking things over. We do love our cats. Anyhow, he goes in front of us and he starts to dive away. So we try to shoot at him, however a friendly gets to him first before we do, and we don't get the kill. This meteor pulls up, however we can't follow that, so we're just going to go ahead and climb away. We turn around to make sure that meteor isn't following us in our climb, and we're going to start going for this F-84F. I'm never ever going to be scared of an F-84F. They're not really a scary plane to fly against. It used to be really fun when it had an air spawn, but only a few nations get the air spawn one. Cat just jumped on the desk again. We do appreciate that. Take a few pot shots. He is AFK, so it's a free kill. I shoot way more than I'd like to admit, and back down we go. We see this G91, and unbeknownst to me, I only have 7 bullets left, which I'm going to waste as I get a free miss on this G91. It would have been a free kill, however, I just shot from way too far away, thinking I had more ammo. Meteor's going to go down here shortly, and we're going to miss these shots and just return to base. You can see we miss here, and I'm just sticking for a little bit longer, sticking here as well to make sure that that meteor knows he has to dodge me. However, he does die, and we're just going to turn around and go back to base here. So we're going to go ahead and speed this footage up. So we go back, we J out, and we're going to go ahead and fly back. The only guys that are left is going to be a Swift F7 or a Swift F1 and a Saab 105G. So we're not too worried about that. Not too worried about the Saab 105 at least. I am worried a little bit about the Swift F7 though, or Swift F1, whichever one it is, because that can be a squirrely plane. Swift F3 is going to be, well, I'm all over the place with the designations that I'm saying. Either way, Swift F7 dies. I think it was a Swift F7. We'll see here shortly. And it was a F7. Yep. Dies to the F9F, and we are headed back to kill this Saab 105. See that he's locked in engagement with the G81. We also see our F9F is coming in. I went ahead and I slowed down the clip now so you can see my approach. I want to make sure I have a good altitude advantage over him, even though he is already slow. I just don't want to nose down and get too fast right away, especially since I want to be able to maneuver, and I want to try to get this kill. So you can see the Saab 105 turns around, and we're going to go ahead and start nosing down now. Who's going to get the kill? Is it going to be me? Is it going to be F9F? Either way, we see he pulls lead, and we decide to stick a head on, very stupidly, just to make sure we get the kill, and that ends the game with a good amount of kills here. We go ahead and say bravo, of course, and we die, which is totally okay. No big deal. We can see we got some pretty good rewards for that game. Not as much as we're going to get in a second, but we did get the S21s. So you can see we're running the S21s now. And in this first game, we're not really going to do anything with them. You can see we're taking off. I set the fuse delay to about a kilometer. You can see I'm checking the BR right now. And comment down below if you know what the BR is just by pressing tab on what game I'm playing. Might be a little bit of a tough one because it might not be obvious right away. Either way, we take off. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the footage now. Slowing down that footage now, we see that there's a B-57 coming in, who we are going to go for. You can see I nose down, and we're going to try to lose some altitude to make sure our angle of attack is a little bit better. When we're going for this guy, you can see he goes ahead and gives us a really easy deflection. Take a few pot shots out. We wait for him to fall right into our guns, and we just take a small burst, and he's down. Now we're going to go for this F-84F. Looks like he's fallen right in front of our guns as well. So we're just going to take a shot at about, I want to say, 800 meters. That shot from the left-hand side of the screen was from the B-57, so no worries there. Let's see, when did we take this shot? There's 1 kilometer, 0.9, 0.8, 7.5 maybe. We get severe damage, and we take him down. Moving forward now, we see a lot of guys coming in, a lot of Sabres, a lot of A4s, some Meteors, etc., F9F, just the usual suspects. A lot of American planes. You're pretty much always going to be flying against America when you're flying Russia, especially in this BR bracket, especially the MiG-15bis. Anything from, I'd say, 8.0 to 9.0, you're pretty much always flying against NATO, it feels like. I shoot off an S-21, don't lead it enough, however, we still get the air kill on that A4E. Easy stuff. It was easy deflection. And then we see this MD-452 right behind us. However, we know that we can outspeed it, so we're just going to go ahead and go straight, and then we're going to make sure that we're not getting targeted by that missile. We're also going to make sure that we are dodging periodically and jinking to make sure he doesn't snipe us at 1 kilometer. You can see we almost got hit there. And then we're going to go ahead and make a 90 degree turn to our right, because we see a small furball over here. And we know that we still won't be able to be caught up to. I'm just making sure that F9F isn't shooting off a missile. Not sure which F9F that is. Not sure which F9F that is, excuse me. And we're going to shoot our next one at 2 kilometers, see if that works. However, that was way too early, and you'll see that we solve that in the next game. So we turn around, and there's the Sabre. You can see we're trying to regroup with our allies because there's a lot of guys behind us. However, you see we're starting to outspeed everybody, so one by one they'll all start to fall away. They'll all start to turn off. There goes the MD-452. You can see the F9F is shortly going to follow him. And then you can see that as soon as this F-86, this Sabre, gets engaged, that's when we're going to turn around and try to go for the kill. We've got plenty of ammo left, we've got plenty of speed and altitude, and then boom, all of a sudden there's an A4E, so that's what we need to go for. We take quite a big burst at him, a little bit more than I would like. We both miss, and then I'm just going to make sure I dodge that head on, and there we go, we're going to turn around. A Meteor comes in, and I am not able to turn into that, so I just make sure that I avoid the head-on to make sure I don't get hit there. And as soon as I see he's not following, I'm going to go for this other A4E. We're kind of alone now. You can see there isn't a whole lot of friendlies around. They're all either behind us or way ahead of us. He turns underneath us to try to neg-G our shot, and he successfully avoids that. So take notes. That's a really important thing to know how to do, is to turn into their neg-G. We see this MD-452 again. I take way too many shots at him, however we do get the kill on him, but we do take a little bit of damage. And now we are basically out of ammo. We only have 2 rounds left, however we are going to try to use these to kill this A4E. So there we go, MD-452 hits the ground, giving us the kill. We have 2 37mm left. Can we hit them? You'll see here shortly. Here comes the first shot. An absolute miss because he turns out of the way at the last second. Not sure if that would have hit otherwise. Either way, we're going to go ahead and hammerhead him. However, this first approach isn't going to go too well, so we're going to go ahead and make another one after this. You can see we're pulling our air brake to try to get the shot. However, he pulls out of our guns, and that guy's dead ahead of us, so we don't need to worry about him. You can see he's on fire, so we go ahead and hammerhead him one more time. And this time we want to get real slow. We're not really paying attention to our surroundings at the moment, which we definitely should be, and that's going to bite us in here in just a second. Take our second shot, and we don't get it. Either way, we see that F-86 was still shooting at us, so we turn around to take a look to make sure that A4E is not going to hit us, and boom, there's another Sabre on our 6, and he is coming in fast. In this scenario, we should be dead. However, we jink his shots, we get around, and we go ahead, and at this point, you can decide to go straight, or you can decide to start following him as if you could dogfight him. But then again, we don't have any ammo. I think about this for way too long, and then we start to dogfight him. Now the reason we're doing this is to give our team some time to come in and help us out here. You can see we take some shots here, but that's the last time that guy's going to hit us. Spoiler alert, this guy does end up hitting the ground, and so if you count maneuver kills, we did get an ace this game. And we are just, I say cover me to try to get some teammates over here. And I start turning, and teammate comes in. I did see there was an IL-28 right there. I'm like, can he come help out? And then I see this MiG-15. He pushes him a little bit lower into the ground, so I'd say I certainly at least get an assist on the maneuver kill. Almost hit this mountain here, and then I decide to RTB. Because I don't see any enemies around, I'm out of ammo, I'm about half of my fuel left. So we're going to go ahead and RTB here now.
Awesome.
So we go ahead and RTB, we respawn, and we're going to go ahead and fly over towards the enemy side of the airfield. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the footage here so that you can make it a little bit easier for you. And essentially we're just going to take off, we look at the vampire on the way out, and nothing else happens for the rest of the game. This guy just ends up dying, this B-57, and then we go ahead and we are going to win the game. We get Terror of the Sky, we get 4 kills plus a maneuver kill. I call it an ace, no big deal. And then we go ahead and we go to the reward screen just to take a look at how much we get, and we get a pretty good amount there. So very happy with that, and let's go ahead and move on to the next game. And we're going to be playing on City, arguably probably my favorite map for this tier of jets. I think it's really fun to maneuver in between all the buildings. You can see I'm showing my settings here on screen for what I prefer the MiG-15 to be at. 10 to 11 minutes of fuel, and then 400 meters convergence and vertical targeting on. Those will just help you hit deflection shots a little easier. Of course, I'm going to check the BR, IC 8.0, IC 9.0. We immediately know that we're at an 8.0 to 9.0 game. And now we're going to go ahead and speed up the footage here. Try not to get motion sick as I look around too much. Luckily it's pretty good now and stable. Now the reason we're going to slow our footage down here is because we're going to see a Vautour pop up down below right about now. And the reason that that's important is because he's low, and he is going to be, that's the guy who slings off some radar missiles at 8.3, that's the Frenchie. And we're going to be careful of that guy. However, you can see him thinking about diving for him. You can see him thinking about it. Once again, we have the S-21 rockets. Those are going to come in handy here in just a second. But the reason we don't go for him is we want to maintain our altitude, especially since we don't want to get turned around and then get, you know, sloppy seconds for our kills. So we go ahead and we leave him be. And we see the F-84. You can see I'm just about to turn into him, and then I see an A-4. Prime target for the S-21 rockets. I shoot this one at about 1.5, and you can see here, I go ahead and I get a crit. Now we're going to see another A-40, and we're going to shoot another S-21 at him. We're going to shoot it at 1.2, 1.3, and that is going to be very useful. You see I just do a little bit high on that, and there we go, aircraft destroyed. Back to the hangar with you. So we're going to go ahead and turn around. We see an F-3H, we see an F-84F, we see an F-86F, and not really too worried right now. We're in a pretty good position, especially since we're behind the whole team. And we see a Javelin to our right. We also see an F-80 behind us, which we're going to completely ignore, at least for the time being. So we decide to go for this A4E, because we can see he's going vertical. It's an A4E, so he's probably going to stall himself out right in front of our guns. We're really thinking about it. You can see we're really thinking about it. We're making sure nobody's going to come for us. We start leading our shot, and next thing you know, we completely whiff it because we thought about it way too hard. I think it's pretty easy to miss shots in this plane. You really got to think about it. However, you don't want to think about it too much. I suggest over-leading your shots for the most part before you get the hang of it. And you can see here we go ahead and we set up a fire. However, our friendly, our squad mate, the ME-163, is going to go ahead and take that from us. But that's okay. He probably needs it more than we do, RP-wise. And now we see this F-80. And F-80 and the Seahawk are flying together. Not in formation, actually. They're just going to try to kill each other. And this F-80 will be successful in the department. Poor Seahawk, indeed. We go ahead and we follow up on him. And you can see he starts to dive around, so I'm going to try to line up this shot. He starts to pull right. With my rudder and with my slow instantaneous turn speed, because I'm going super fast, I don't quite get the shot in right there. However, we go completely vertical because we have way more energy than he does, so we start to jink around, make sure his 50 cals aren't going to hit us, because 50 cals are deadly. And he's completely stalled out now. We see the MiG-17 and we see this G91 coming in to clean up for us. A little disappointing, but hey, that's okay. And then we see our final target of the video, which is going to be that Javelin right there. Javelin is a missile bus. It's like an F9F8. It's got 4 15G missiles, so we're going to take an easy kill on him right here. We see that he pulls down and over. We are going way too fast right now, and there we go. We go ahead and miss our shot, and we go straight into the ocean. Thank you guys so much for watching. you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.